Right, what I'd like to do now is talk to you about how to draw Garret frills onto the card, onto a technical drawing. So I've shown you these before, you know how to do Garret frills. So it depends what Garret frill cutter you use, whether you use one of these that you can take out the centre and put different sizes in the middle, a straight one, or the one that clips in. But what you do need to know is the measurement. So the measurement is, I'm taking it from the inside of the Garret frill to the outside of the Garret frill. So that measures just approximately 2 centimetres. Okay. If you're doing this one, it measures 2.5. This one, it would measure 2. And then this one has got 3 settings on. That setting is 2 centimetres. If you want a narrow Garret frill, you can then just bring it in a little bit more and it measures 1.5. Okay. So I'll use the 2 centimetre measurement for this. So if you're going to do, I'm going to show you different ones on the cake designs, and you need to just adapt it to your design. So, for example, if I'm going to do a straight Garret frill going along the bottom, I would measure from the board 2 centimetres coming up 2 centimetres, and that's the depth of my Garret frill. Okay, so I'm going to join those lines up. So that's the top of the Garret frill. Now we need to draw the underside of the Garret frill. And I'm just going to do that by wavy line. And that will show the flounce of the Garret frill. So if you want to give a little bit more detail, you can put a couple of tucks in just to represent the Garret frill, the movement in the Garret frill. Okay, so that's a Garret frill. If you wanted to do a double Garret frill, then you just need to bring it up slightly by, I'm measuring there 2.2 centimetres. So if you're doing a double Garret frill, you would do one wavy line, and then the next one just slightly above it. And you'll notice that more when you colour it in. Perhaps the bottom one is a colour and the top one is a different colour. Now, usually when you're doing these, but I mean, depending on your design, you might have usually your Garret frill will just skim the board, and that's traditionally, that's the way it goes, but you can change the design on this. If you wanted frills coming all the way down, you would start at the top. So perhaps the Garret frill will be at the top, and then I'm just measuring 2 centimetres all the way down. Nice and light, because I'll want to rub that straight line out later. And you would then, on that faint line, you would draw your wavy Garret frills. And this is really depends on how close you want your Garret frills to be. And if you want them quite far apart, then you do it that way. If you want them a little bit closer, then you can put more Garret frills on. So those straight lines I need to rub out and just leave the wavy ones. Okay, so that's if you want Garret frills all up the side of your cake. Usually you find when you come to colour, I'd experiment with your colours Usually, if your cake is a pale pink, for example, and the underneath garret frill there is a brighter pink, then that looks nice if the bottom one's a brighter pink, but the top one is the same colour as your cake. I think if you did a garret frill that's a brighter colour or a darker colour than your cake, or even paler, then it stand out too much. You don't really want your garret frills to be the focal point on your cake. You want your flowers to be the focal point on your cake. So yes, add colour to it, but I would add it by perhaps the under part, the under garret frill as the colour. If you wanted scallops on your garret frill, you can use a compass or you can use a cutter. I could use something like this if you want to. I could use something circular. So I could divide this section into 3. So this is easy for me to do. Yeah, that's not too bad. So I divide it into 3. The bottom of and I can draw a line as a guide here. It's going up. So the bottom of my garret frill would be touching the board, and then it will come up. So I would need to bring this to 2 centimetres. So if I just show you here, I might be able to show you a bit better. From there to the board would be 2 centimetres. Yeah, and obviously that would be higher. Now I can do it with a compass, or I can use a cutter. I can do a scallop. Just bear in mind you're keeping that 2 centimetres all the time. When you do your wavy line, it touches the board and comes back up. Touches the board and comes back up. Okay, and again, if I want to do double garret frill, I can draw another line underneath there. So that's a scallop. And I know some of you in your designs have drawn it so that you want garret frills on the corner of your cake, and you might have it on, both sides. So when you do this, you would draw it from here, coming down, and then perhaps coming up if you want that side, or it could come down to about there. And this is up to you on your design, and I can guide each one of you individually on that. So, for example, if I'm just looking for something big to draw around. If I wanted my garret frill to come up the cord from the top point from one side, coming down. Now I could have it coming back up again if I wanted to. Now I'm drawing that round because I can't find anything large to draw around, but a dinner plate would work well. And the garret frill there, leaving that 2 centimetre, yeah, would come up like that. Now some of you, yeah, that's fine. Some of you want to build up the garret frills here. So what you would imagine is that you've got a line, again 2 centimetres in between. So perhaps the garret frill is going straight here. So you put that on first, and then finish it off by one going straight over the top. Or you might leave it like this. Okay, so that's an idea of how to put Garret frills on the K. Remember the depth of the K and the Garret frill, that's really important. So from there to there, whether you want it 1.5 centimetres, 2 centimetres or 2.5 centimetres, but that will give you a guide. So scalloped, straight, I've shown you a selection there.